Hello, this is Roy Evans along with Denise Most, and we are here at the Black Enterprise Entrepreneurs Conference. And for most folks, we really don't need to do an introduction, but we are going to do one. We are sitting here with the founder, publisher, the originator of Black Enterprise Magazine, Mr. Earl Graves Sr. How you doing, Mr. Graves?
Roy, I'm fine. Thank you. Appreciate you inviting me to be here.
Good to have you. Good to have you. Good to have you.
So, Mr. Graves, let's talk a little bit. Let's start off about the conference before we get too deep into things. Let's talk about your vision for the conference, why you started it, and how it's evolved since you first began it.
Well, first of all, this is our 12th year of doing the Entrepreneurs Conference, and we do conferences. That's a part of the business of Black Enterprise. When we first started Black Enterprise, it was an entity, Black Enterprise Magazine. Today it's a brand. It's a Black Enterprise business report. Is a Black Enterprise, our world with Black Enterprise. We're on 62 Clear Channel radio stations. We have this event. We had the Women in Power event that we had in February in Phoenix, and we'll of course have our perennial golf and tennis event where we have another 1,500 people. This year it'll be in Miami. It'll be back at the Doral, and we take over 5 golf courses. It's the biggest thing the Doral ever has. And we bring 1,500 African Americans who are serious about networking, who are serious at this conference about talking about business and opportunity. Now, I do need to give a little credit before you think all of this I thought about myself. The idea of Black Enterprise, that was my idea because our kids were, one of them was not even, all 3 of them were born by the time we started Black Enterprise, but the idea of it, I think Michael, the youngest one, who's here now and an executive VP for marketing, I'm not even sure he was much more than a dream in our eye, but he was maybe 5-6 months old. But now when you look at the other things that we have achieved, you see our sons and our daughter-in-laws are just not here. They're really not involved in the company other than giving moral support and the other things that they do. But we actually have a 3rd generation of one of the Graves who will join the company. Earl III, who's our 15-year-old grandson, said he wanted to work at the company this summer. Wonderful. And his father said to him, Butch is, I call him Butch, but it's Earl Jr., and so Earl III will join, and I'm not Earl the First, but Earl Graves, the original Earl Graves, the old one. But the things that we're doing now in our expansion has to do with really the ideas of my sons and the other people who work for us. We have a great staff of people who are real, true professionals. Almost most of them women, and 75% of our employees, Denise, are women.
Wonderful. Any openings?
Denise, your partner is not going to like that if you say that, but and you have to come to New York. Although we have a Chicago office and LA office, really most of what happens in New York. But again, let me just say that a lot of those ideas have come from our sons and from our staff in terms of things we could do and are doing, including that golf tournament, the Women of Power conference. That was one of our retreats. We sit down once a year and we evaluate what we have achieved and what we hope to achieve. And keep in mind, we're in the business of making money. This is not a non-for-profit entity. I started off to do that. Otherwise, we can't support the things that I want to support, whether that's my college, which we gave Morgan State University. I gave $1 million to that school. My wife and I did back in 1995. I will go back to Morgan, not this weekend, but next weekend. This is Mother's Day weekend, so going anywhere other than being home with my wife would not be in trouble.
You'll be in trouble.
But next weekend, I will have been out of college 50 years.
Wow.
Right? I don't look that old, right? You all
no,
get
the 2 of you. Business school is meant for you.
It is, and the 2 of you were getting ready to say I don't look that old, so I appreciate that. But the point is. It's the expansion of what we have done, and it's the aspirations of you 2 folks. It is the aspirations of the people on the other side of the camera there who are doing a great job for you. And I was watching them set this thing up, and they care about what they're doing. The young man doing the lighting wanted to get it absolutely right, so I hope we all look okay and not too shiny. The young people sitting at the table who are monitoring what they're seeing on the computer, it's clear that there's a desire to get it right. I think that's reflective of the people here. These are 1,400 people who are serious about when you paid $1,000 to come to this conference. This was not you just walk in off the street and say I'm here.
That's right.
So and plus you had to get here. Right? And then I saw the ladies going shopping. So that means in addition to their $1,000 and their transportation,
that's right.
They were going shopping after the session. Now I must say they were not going. Nobody has walked. No, not during. Right. You looked at that luncheon yesterday where Magic Johnson was the speaker, and before him. what's the young man's name who runs Ariel?
Bob Johnson.
No, not Bob Johnson. No, Bob Johnson was there too. Doing a black. He went to Princeton. I can see his face.
Michael
No. That's today.
Okay.
I'll think of it in a second. Right.
Okay.
But when you look at the quality of the people who were there, that we were having the speakers sitting there in rapt attention were those 1,400 people. Now that doesn't somebody didn't get up and go to the bathroom, but the point I'm making is that these are people who have a desire to be somebody. These are people who have a desire to achieve something. These are people, young people, and some not so young. I mean, I don't know, the median age must be that's here. I would think about 30.
30,
because
34.
Because the person just getting out of college is just trying to figure out are they going to be president of the United States, or they're going to be, or they're going to own Macy's. I mean, that's the given. But the folks that are here now, they got to focus. They think I want to do a magazine like Earl Graves. I want to own a bottling company. I want to start something and have my own television station. Look at Bob Johnson. I mean, Bob Johnson was here yesterday. He's a billionaire.
Yes, he is.
The first African-American male billionaire, real live billionaire. And so the things he's doing, he's investing in financial institutions, starting his own bank.
That's right.
Has started his own bank.
Yes, he did.
He's doing things in terms of hotels and establishing a hotel chain around the country.
Bought one of the banks in Orlando, Metro Bank.
And so he's there. He's creating casinos. I'm not sure that I'm thrilled about that part of it, but it's going to make money, and if somebody's going to do it, it might as well be him.
Exactly.
But he's got a premise that says if there's an opening for it, and the other guys are doing it, and I think I'm going to make money, I can do it.
Absolutely.
And so the people who are here, they come with a desire to do well, and they want to be surrounded by other people who want to do well, so it really gets into your system if you're there. People are sitting around a table, and they're hanging on a person's every word because they want to know, when I leave here, am I going to have something more than when I came here in terms of what I learned. And I would be disappointed if the people who pay the money they do to come here had not left here thinking that they have achieved something, that they learned something, that they networked with people, and they met people who they will do business with.
Absolutely.
I can assure you from this conference will come businesses where some folks will say, I met Mary, I met Joe, we talked and had similar interests, and they're going to do it in Detroit, and I'm going to be doing it in Charlotte, or I'm going to be doing it in Michigan somewhere, and you'll see that happen. And I think that is very healthy.
All right. That leads me to your book that you wrote almost 10 years ago, How to Succeed in Business Without Being White. It'll celebrate 10 years. You wrote it in 1997. It's 2007.
Yeah.
What would you say is one of the biggest challenges for African Americans to start their own business?
Resources to capital.
Okay.
I mean, starting anything is, you can have a great idea. I mean, only a couple of people are going to have a father that's, John Johnson.
Sure.
And let me say that Linda's carrying on his legacy, but developing that business into other things.
Absolutely.
And other things that her dad never did.
Right.
And my sons and their wives and our grandchildren, they will do the same thing. I see that happening down the road. And so the number one thing of being in business is having the resources.
Absolutely.
And one of the things people do without planning for it is they don't plan if there's an obstacle in the road to what their course is to get from here to there.
Right.
And therefore what happens is they run out of money.
Right.
Or they have to start cutting back, or they just don't have enough money. Now, when I started Black Enterprise, first of all, I'd never done a magazine before.
Right.
I was just fortunate that the budget I had myself on and the course I just set for myself, that in 9 issues, we were already in the black. Now, But again, my wife was working at the company. I was working at the company. We had a tight number of people, and the complement of who worked at the company, we didn't have a lot of extra people.
Right.
We may do what we did. We used outside stringers for writers. In other words, we were hiring people to write pieces.
Right.
And then when it was clear that we were going to be able to take off, then we started to expand, and we did certain things. But we're still prudent today. There's no excess flesh in the body called Earl G. Graves Limited. Right? There isn't. I mean, those people. Our art director is now designing studios for us in terms of what that's going to look like. He designs the pages of what our magazine will look like. He designs sets for us for the signage that you see all over this event. So access to capital, number one. It will always